Hello, 欢迎来到 Mandarin Slang Guide, MSG, the Chinese learning podcast that tastes great and probably isn't all that bad for you. I'm Josh Ogden Davis, bringing you some words and perspectives that aren't in your textbook. I'm here today with Avers. Hi, Avers.
Hi, Josh. Wow, it's been really long.
It has been a really long time. I left Shanghai a few months ago.
Yeah, and it's August now. It's the end of August.
Oh, goodness. So how have you been?
I've been great. I've actually been spending a lot of time in the cinemas lately. Starting from July, most of the cinemas have reopened.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of lived in the cinema right now.
What's it like in the cinema these days? I've seen pictures of the seats are roped off and people are sitting really far apart. What's the experience like?
You have to wear a mask, and before entering, you have to show your green code. And then the tickets are limited because they only allow to sell 50% of the tickets.
Do you like it better with the theater mostly empty, or does it feel weird?
I absolutely love it. I don't like it when people sit next to me in the cinema. I mean, even before the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will go to the cinema not because there are some interesting films that they want to say, but only because they want to go to the cinema to enjoy just being there. It's called 报复性观影.
What is that?
So 报复means payback. And 性 as in the nature of something. 观影 as watching movies.
报复性观影.
Yeah.
So revenge watching. Getting revenge on quarantine itself, I suppose?
Yes.
Nice. Well, today we're not going to talk about movies, or we're not going to talk about movies any more than we already have. Today, we're going to talk about apps. We're going to recommend some apps to you. Now, this is not the top 10 apps you must download if you live in China. We're not doing that. We're going to recommend some apps that will be useful for you, whether you are in China or outside of China. And these apps will be useful for you in terms of learning Chinese or helping you get in the habit of using some apps in Chinese on your phone, which is a big step to take if you're ready for it. And also, some of these apps might just help you get engaged in Chinese culture right from the comfort of your own phone. Now, I'll have some app recommendations, and Avers has some app recommendations, and after the show, I'll put all the recommendations in our WeChat group and also in our Facebook group. That's right, I'm finally paying attention to our Facebook group. I know a lot of you out there have problems using WeChat, so they won't let you come into the group. Sorry about that. I'm finally making the Facebook group into a thing. So we'll put all these recommendations in our WeChat and in our Facebook group. For the Facebook group, just search for MSG Podcast on Facebook. Just one word. That's the name of the group. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with the conversation. And this conversation has a lot of words that are related to these apps. So, Avers, do you want to be A or B?
B.
All right, let's go.
怎么了？你网易云了吗？
没有，我喜欢的播客被屏蔽了。
哎呀，别伤心，来跟我吃鸡吧。
对了，我下个小宇宙就可以，不用翻墙。
好吧，那我自娱自乐吧。
All right, so if you didn't get all that, don't worry. After we recommend these apps to you, you'll get all of it. So let's start from music. I have a music app recommendation, and that's 网易云. 网易云. Do you use 网易云, Avers?
Yeah, every day. It's my first choice when it comes to music apps.
Why, Avers? Tell us why 网易云 is your number one choice.
Because Spotify is blocked.
Fair, very fair.
I think 网易云 is the most famous music app in China, but recently a lot of albums are banned from it because they don't have the copyright.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about 网易云 is that it doesn't rely so much on imported music or foreign music. It's an app that has proactively made itself a platform for independent music. So it's a great place for discovering all kinds of Chinese music, very professional music, also sort of amateurish music. It's all up there.
Yeah, and it's also like building its community, and you can talk to each other and share what you thought about this song in the comment area.
Yeah, and actually, that's why I included it in the conversation, because of the phrase 网易云. Now, the name of the app is 网易云, and the slang word I'm talking about now sounds exactly the same, 网易云. But for the name of the app, what it is wǎng, representing internet, yi representing easy,
Yeah,
I
easy.
think.
网易is it's called NetEase. It's an internet company, just like bǎidù.
Yeah. And then yun, meaning cloud. I suppose the full name of the app is 网易云音乐. So it's NetEase Cloud Music. 网易云音乐. Now, because of this community that you're talking about, people commenting on the music and then sharing their feelings about the music, there's been an odd shift in the last few months where there has been an amazing preponderance of overly depressing comments, almost comically so. The general impression is that a lot of these are fake. People will just write the most depressing things they can think about. Like, oh, I'm listening to this song, reminds me of how my girlfriend left me and how I'll always be alone for the rest of my life. And, oh, don't worry about me. I'm fine, really. You guys just go on and enjoy your happy lives. And it's really kind of a weird thing. Have you encountered that?
Yeah, like all the time. And they always talk about in the comment area, like how they broke up with their girlfriend or how their hearts will never be whole again. And it's really a little bit 矫情.
矫情, yeah. How do you explain 矫情?
You got me.
I think a good word for it might be affected. Like you're wearing these emotions like a flashy jacket. Like you're showing off how affected by your emotions you are.
Yeah.
Overly dramatic, perhaps.
Yeah.
矫情.
矫情.
So because of this tendency, a couple of things happened. First, well, I thought this was great and also kind of funny. Wang Yiyun hired a team of psychologists to offer counseling to people who want it through the app, which I think is great. The general consensus is that a lot of these comments are fake, but some of them aren't. And so people might be needing some help. And I'm a big fan of people getting counseling whenever they need it. And I'm also a big fan of platforms making it available and normal for people to get it. So that's great. But another thing that happened is that people started making a joke about the name of the app, 网易云音乐. They would change two of the characters. So 网易云, they would change the E to a different E, the E from 抑郁 for depression or depressed. And then for 音乐, they would change the 音, which means sound, to 音, which means
underworld. Yeah.
Underworld. Ooh.
Yeah. Like the music from the underworld.
I love this. I didn't make that connection, but I love it a lot. So when you write it that way, 网易云音乐 means internet depressing cloud, underworld music, which I guess you wouldn't translate it that directly, but you just replace two of the characters with sort of dramatically depressing characters. So in this conversation, I said, 你网易云了吗? Means, are you feeling bad because you're listening to depressing music or reading these depressing comments? All right, so that's 网易云, a great app for finding Chinese music, whether professional or independent, or, if that's your bag, reading hilariously depressive comments. So Avers, do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, my recommendation also has the character Yun in its name.
Ooh.
It's called 百度云.
百度云.
Yeah, a lot of clouds right there.
Yeah.
So 百度云is a free app where you can share files, all kinds of files with each other, like WeTransfer.
Yeah.
And it can also be used as a video player. So I use it mainly to watch movies.
Huh. Hold on. Okay, so a couple things. First, yun, which means literally a cloud in the sky, is often used for software or even for company names referring to cloud computing. So you'll see yun a lot. 网易云, 百度云. And second, you just said that you don't just use it for file sharing, you also use it as a video player. Why?
Because of so many reasons. Like I said before, I really like watching movies. So for all the movies that aren't introduced into China, there won't be a channel for you to watch it. Or like to put it in another way, the official channel is blocked. So people with the access to the movie, they will download it and re-upload into bǎidù Yun and share the link with each other. So we can just play and see the whole movie in bǎidù Yun.
This is an MSG disclaimer. Please respect copyright laws. Do not engage in music or movie piracy. There's got to be a better word for that, but I didn't think of it off the top of my head. This workaround, which is basically like I'll put it in my Dropbox, that's pretty clever. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, that's why people, when we see a trailer of a foreign film and knowing that it won't be in Chinese cinema, we will just comment and say 网盘见, which means I'll see this movie in bǎidù Yun.
网盘见. What is 网盘见?
网 means net, and 盘 originally it means dishes, and here it means a hard drive. Like 硬盘, a hard drive. So 见 means see or watch. And 网盘见 together means I'll watch this film on the internet in bǎidù Yun.
明天见,后天见, see you tomorrow, see you day after tomorrow, but it's see you on the online hard drive, 网盘见.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so that's 网易云 for listening to music and getting mildly depressed, and bǎidù Yun for sharing files and cough, cough, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, pirating movies. P.S. Please don't do that. It's illegal. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is podcasts or listening. Now, my recommendation for this was in the conversation. It's xiǎo, which is a podcasting app similar to Podchaser or Apple Podcasts. It's just an app that's only used for podcasts. Have you ever used this before, Avers?
Yeah, I've used it before. I used it when it was still in the beta phase.
Ooh.
I think the user interface is pretty cool, and it has access to a lot of podcasts that were banned in China.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. So xiǎo is small, and 宇宙 is universe. So I love this concept of small universe, a little universe just for you. I love it for two reasons. One reason is that that's the sort of the feeling that you get when you're really invested in listening to a podcast like MSG, like you're in your own little universe listening to it. And another thing is because this app, for whatever reason, I don't know, can access all of these banned podcasts that you usually couldn't listen to on a Chinese platform. It's almost like it's a small universe unto itself where these podcast censorship things don't really exist. So in this little 小宇宙, it's like a little speakeasy for podcasts. So when I was listening to podcasts in China, I always 翻墙, which is jump over the wall or get over the Great Firewall to listen to podcasts. But you don't actually have to do that. You can just download a 小宇宙 and use that as your podcast listening app, and they're all right there. It's fantastic. All right, so that's it for 小宇宙. Do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, I also have a listening app recommendation, but it's in another form. It's called 为你读诗.
为你读诗.
Yeah, poem for you.
So 为你 is for you. 读诗 is read poems. So reading poems for you.
Yeah.
Poems for you.
It's a really cool app where you can listen to modern Chinese poems. Also, the Chinese version of foreign poems. And many episodes are read by Chinese celebrities. And before they go reading for this app, mostly they will be trained. So their speed is really slow and their pronunciation is really accurate. So if you want to practice speaking Chinese, this is perfect to repeat after.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it. I usually avoid poetry because it's quite complex. But one great thing about this, even if your Chinese is not really good enough for poems, like mine maybe is not some of the time, using this as a pronunciation reference could be very useful. One of my pronunciation tricks is I choose someone whose voice I like, and then when I speak in Chinese, I'm doing like an impression of them. I'm not worrying about, oh, how is this pronounced? I'm thinking, how would that person pronounce it? So if you want to inundate your brain with extremely clear and beautiful pronunciation, it seems like this could be a good way to do that.
Yeah. And another good thing is you can search for the foreign poems you already know, and it will be displayed in Chinese. So you already know the meaning of it, and it will be easier for you to learn the Chinese in
Well, that's fantastic. My concept for this episode was that we would recommend stuff to our listeners, but you've hooked me on this. So I've fallen victim to my own plot. Thanks, Avers.
Yeah, go download it.
Yeah, so that's 小宇宙 for podcasts and 为你读诗 for poetry. All right, one more category before we go back to the conversation, and this is games. My game recommendation is 和平精英, which means like 和平 is peace, and 精英 is like heroes or elite heroes or something like that, which is a hilarious name because this is basically PUBG. It's a game that consists entirely of shooting people and being the last person not shot. But it has been one of the most popular games in China. Well, mobile game, 手游, hand game, so mobile phone game, 手游. It's been one of the most popular 手游 for years. I mean, I was playing this when I was in Beijing, I think, which was 4 years ago, something like that. But when I first started playing it, one of the things I didn't understand is why everyone was talking about eating chicken when they're playing this game. Because these two little characters, 吃鸡, would appear all the time. And eventually, what I realized is 吃鸡 is a nickname for these battle arena games. Literally eat chicken, 吃鸡. And also it means to win the game is to 吃鸡. I think it comes from the phrase winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, I got it.
What's the Chinese phrase?
大吉大利今晚吃鸡. Like 吉利 means lucky. So 大吉大利 means super lucky. And 今晚吃鸡 means have chicken for dinner tonight.
大吉大利今晚吃鸡. So people have taken 吃鸡 to mean the game itself and also the action of winning the game. All right, Avers, what's your recommendation?
I don't play games very often, but I do have one game that I want to recommend. It's really trending in China lately. And the storyline is set in Ming Dynasty.
Ooh.
Can you guess which one it is?
I have literally no idea.
It's a game called Jiāngnán百景图.
江南百景图.
Yeah, so Jiāngnán, Jiang means Changjiang, the Yangtze River, and Nan means south. So Jiāngnán means the southern part of China, Bai as in 100, and Jīng means scenery. But in this condition, I think you can also translate as livelihood, the 100th livelihood in Jiāngnán. And Tu means picture. Yeah.
So southern China, 100 views / lifestyles / vignettes?
Yeah.
Picture.
Yeah, you can say it that way. So basically, you become the chief city designer in Ming Dynasty. And your job is to build houses and farms and restaurants and watch your character grow and interact with each other. I really like it because in the beginning, it's really easy and light and amusing because there's nothing in the city and you're allowed to shape it however you want. Like you can feel so empowered and in control. But it will be much harder when you've been playing it for a while because like the basic layout is already set and the price for tearing down buildings and rebuilding is much higher. And the team behind it really put a lot of effort in the details. So everything you can say in the app, or they're in a cartoon form, but they are all based in historical facts. So if you're a big fan of the culture of Ming Dynasty, you should really play it.
I don't know anything about the culture of the Ming Dynasty, but I feel like if I play this game, I just might get some culture.
Yeah. And actually, I quit this game the other day. I deleted this app because because one of my favorite characters died, and I don't have enough money in the game to bury him. So it gets really real.
Oh, no.
It's still 上头. Yeah.
Wait, what was that you said?
I said this game is really 上头.
上头?
Yeah.
Is that up head?
Yeah, up head. It means something like when you're drinking and you drink too much, you say 我上头了.
Oh. So like goes to your head or gets in your head.
Yeah. And when you're not drinking, when you say something or someone is 上头, it means you're deeply addicted to this person or this thing.
So hold on. How would I use that in a sentence?
You can say 这个游戏太上头了.
Or 这个播客太上头了.
You got it. Yep.
This podcast is too addictive.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think that's all that we need to know in order to understand this conversation. So let's go through this conversation one more time and explain it. Do you want to be A or B this time?
I'll be A this time.
All right, let's go. 怎么了？你网易云了吗？
没有，我喜欢的播客被屏蔽了。
哎呦，别伤心，来跟我吃鸡吧。
对了，我下个小宇宙就可以，不用翻墙。
好吧，那我自娱自乐吧。All right, so let's go through this line by line. The first line is ugh, which needs no explanation. But the second line is
怎么了？你网易云了吗？
怎么了 means
What's up? What's the matter?
yeah. And 你网易云了吗? So are you 网易云 right now? What is that?
Are you like being depressed and listening to sad songs?
Yeah, so that's 网易云 is short for the NetEase music app, but they've changed the E to the E that means depressing. And after that, it's
没有，我喜欢的播客被屏蔽了。
So 没有 is no, and then 我喜欢的播客. So 播客 podcast, the podcast that I like 被屏蔽了. What's 被屏蔽了?
被屏蔽了 as in blocked, being blocked.
Yeah, so 屏蔽 is block, and 被 indicates the passive voice. So if your podcast is 被屏蔽了, that means that it has been blocked. And what's the next one?
哎呦，别伤心，来跟我吃鸡吧。
Yeah, ayo is exactly what it sounds like. 别伤心 is don't be sad. And then 来跟我吃鸡. What's that?
Come eat chicken with me.
Come eat chicken with me.
Yeah.
But here, 吃鸡 is not referring to actually eating chicken, even though 吃, eat, 鸡, chicken. It's referring to playing
和平精英
Yeah, the PUBG ripoff. So 来跟我吃鸡吧. So hey, don't be sad. Come play PUBG. You don't have to listen to podcasts. But then you replied.
对了，我下个小宇宙就可以，不用翻墙。
So 对了 means like, right, I remember now. And then 我下个小宇宙就可以. What is that?
我 as in I, and 下 is the short for 下载. Sometimes you don't say 下载, you just say 下 to refer to download. 个 is a measure word for an app or for basically anything. 小宇宙 is the app we talked about, where you get all the podcasts. 就可以 meaning that will do. So I can go download 小宇宙 and that will do.
Yeah, it solves all your problems. And at the end, 不用翻墙 is 不用 means you don't have to, and 翻墙 is
go over the wall. That's the literal meaning.
Yeah.
But 翻墙 here means to browse all the block pages, block websites.
Yeah, get out of that great firewall. Fund that great firewall. 翻的墙. Get out there. Smell the world. And the last sentence is
好吧，那我自娱自乐吧。
Yeah, 好吧 is like okay, but a resigned okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And 那我 then I 自娱自乐吧. What's that?
自娱自乐 is self-entertaining.
Yeah, so that 自 is the same as in 自己, so it means self.
Yeah.
And 娱乐 is having fun or enjoying. So 自娱自乐 is just having fun by yourself. 好吧，那我自娱自乐吧。好吧, if you don't play PUBG with me, I guess I'll just play by myself. All right, now that we've explained it all, and in record time, I might add, let's do it one more time. Do you want to be A or B?
Okay, I'll be B.
All right.
怎么了？你网易云了吗？
没有，我喜欢的播客被屏蔽了。
哎呀，别伤心，来跟我吃鸡吧。
对了，我下个小宇宙就可以，不用翻墙。
好吧，那我自娱自乐吧。
All right, great. Thank you for reading yet another of my extremely silly conversations. You have the patience of a saint. But here at the end, let's go through some honorable mentions, apps that didn't make the conversation, but that are still useful. The first one was recommended by a listener, in the WeChat group. And her WeChat name is 对不起，我的中文不好, which is pretty funny because her Chinese seems pretty fine to me. But she recommended an app or website called 知乎, which is like Yahoo Answers or like Quora. It's a place where people ask questions and other people answer the questions. And so if you have a particular area of interest, it's a great place to go see how people talk about that interest in Chinese. And that's 知乎. Again, I'll put all of these recommendations in the WeChat group and also in the Facebook group, which again is MSG Podcast, one word. Look it up. It's on the Facebooks. So that's 知乎. You have one?
Yeah, my recommendation is called 多邻国.
多邻国.
It's a language learning app. So 多 as in many, and 邻 as in 邻居, neighbor. 国 means 国家. So in this app, you can basically learn any language you want to learn. You just punch in the name of the language and start. What I like about it is it fits the needs for all levels of learners. No matter if you are a beginner or you are an advanced learner, you can always find a course that are designed for you.
Wait, hold on. Is this Duolingo?
Yeah, I think the logo is a green owl.
Oh.
Like that?
No, I've heard about it. I haven't used it, but we talked about this on WeChat before the episode, and I just now clicked that 多邻国 is Duolingo.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. All right, do you have another recommendation?
Yeah, one last recommendation from me, and this is the app I love of all time. It's called 豆瓣.
豆瓣.
Yeah, you heard of it?
I've used it before.
Really?
But tell us about 豆瓣.
Well, 豆瓣 is a place where you can mark all the movies and books and tracks that you watch or listen before and talk about it with the people who have the same interests as you.
So it's like you open it up and you search for a book or a movie, and it has ratings and reviews and also a comment section.
Yeah, it's nothing like Weibo, but it has the similarities. But you can imagine as it's a community exclusive for books and movies and musics.
Yeah, I've noticed that whenever I mention the title of a book or a movie or what music I'm listening to, maybe 7 times out of 10, the person I'm talking to will go check 豆瓣 and see what 豆瓣 says about it. It's almost something you can't do without if you're going to be talking about media with your friends.
Yeah, because it also got the rating system on 豆瓣. And I think mostly when people check the rating of a movie, and if the rating is too low, they will just ignore the movie and forget about it. If the rating is pretty high, maybe they'll go check it out.
Yeah, because life's too short to watch bad movies.
Yeah.
And speaking of life being too short, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks again, Avers.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
That's all the MSG we have for you today. If you want more, or if you want flashcards, or if you want to learn more about these apps, or if you want to join the groups, just find us on Facebook or WeChat as MSG Podcast. All one word, MSG Podcast. Thanks again to Avers for bringing the heat, as always, and a very special thank you this week goes out to everyone out there doing revenge watching, 报复性观影. And last but not least, thank you to you, the listener, for listening. I love it when you listen to this podcast. I look forward to hearing from you, and 再见, 再会, 再聊. Bye bye.